Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. The NFC has officially erupted into chaos, and everyone is whispering the same thing behind closed doors. The Philadelphia Eagles are taking a massive swing at the top of the conference by pushing to acquire none other than TREVON DIGGS. Yes, that TREVON DIGGS, the interception magnet, the game changer, the defensive playmaker, who turns simple passes into highlight reel disasters for opposing quarterbacks. And the buzz around the league is that this move, if it really goes through the way insiders say it might, could completely reshape the playoff landscape before a single postseason snap is played. Fans in Philly are already buzzing, players around the league are talking, and every NFC contender suddenly feels the ground shift a little beneath their feet. Because a corner of this magnitude doesn't just join a team, he elevates it instantly. The rumor mill is spinning fast, and the Eagles seem poised to do something bold. The kind of aggressive roster move that franchises usually only attempt when they smell blood in the water or see a golden window wide open. And right now, with the NFC tightening, windows don't just close, they slam. The whispers started quietly, just little murmurs from beat reporters and anonymous scouts saying Philly was monitoring the situation. But come on, nobody monitors TREVON DIGGS without having serious intentions. The Eagles aren't the type of organization that casually browses elite talent like they're strolling through a shopping mall. When they circle a name, especially a defensive star, it's because they want him in green and aren't afraid to pay a price to make it happen. The tension in the NFC has already been reaching boiling levels, but this rumor poured gasoline on the entire division. The Cowboys, who've relied so much on DIGGS' ability to take away half the field, would be watching a nightmare unfold if he crossed enemy lines straight into Philly territory. Rivalries in the NFL are already fierce, but this would be seismic, and fans can feel it. Something about the energy around this rumor is heavier, more electric, like thunder building before a storm ready to tear the whole playoff race apart. What drives this rumor even deeper into wild territory is how perfectly DIGGS fits the one thing Philadelphia has been missing: that true lockdown presence who forces offenses to rethink every single passing concept. The Eagles have been hunting for stability in the secondary, but what they really want is fear, pure, undeniable fear in the eyes of opposing receivers. And TREVON DIGGS brings that in abundance. The moment quarterbacks see him lined up across their primary read, they hesitate. And hesitation is deadly in the NFL. Add that to an Eagles defense already anchored by physical fronts and aggressive schemes, and suddenly the entire dynamic changes. That's the kind of addition that doesn't just tighten coverage, it creates turnovers, swings momentum, and flips games. And when a team is gearing up for a playoff push, turnovers are currency. Coaches talk about it, analysts obsess over it, and players feel the difference deep in their bones. If Philly secures DIGGS, the whole identity of that defense becomes sharper, more dangerous, and drastically more unpredictable. Behind the scenes, insiders are describing a sense of urgency from Philadelphia that hints at something more than simple curiosity. There's this vibe, almost a quiet desperation from a team that knows its championship window doesn't stay open forever. The NFC is stacked, and the margin for error is razor thin. One more elite defender might be the difference between bowing out in January and playing under the confetti in February. That's not an exaggeration. That's the tone floating around front offices right now. And then there's the emotional factor. Stealing a star from a divisional rival isn't just a roster move, it's psychological warfare. Imagine playoff week, tensions high, cameras rolling, and DIGGS strolling into an Eagles presser wearing midnight green. That alone could tilt the mental balance. Players say they don't pay attention to narratives, but trust me, they feel this stuff. They talk about it, they think about it. And in games where inches matter more than yards, a mental edge can be lethal, of course. The Cowboys side of the story is its own volcano ready to erupt. Fans are already spinning in disbelief at the thought of their defensive superstar being even loosely connected to a rival. But beneath the noise, you can sense a weird mixture of denial, panic, and resignation. This league runs on cap space, on timing, on internal whispers about player movement years before it happens. DIGGS going somewhere else would be bad. DIGGS going to the Eagles' Dallas sworn nemesis, that's the kind of disaster that fans compare to heartbreaks from decades past. It's the type of twist that keeps talk shows alive for entire seasons. And the timing couldn't be more explosive. Both teams are clawing for NFC supremacy. Every win matters, every injury feels catastrophic, and the playoffs loom like a battlefield. If this rumor turns out to be even partially rooted in truth, we're not just talking about a roster change, we're talking about an earthquake. Now comes the real twist: the playoff implications. Oh, the ripple effect this move could unleash is insane. You add TREVON DIGGS to a team like Philadelphia, with their offensive firepower and physical style, and suddenly they become the nightmare matchup nobody wants. Seedings shift, game plans crumble, coaches lose sleep, and teams that thought they had a clear path suddenly feel the walls closing in. It's the kind of move that forces NFC contenders to rethink their strategies entirely. Is your passing game good enough? Is your protection solid with DIGGS lurking? Can your receiver separate? These are the questions coaches hate answering, and the Eagles know exactly how disruptive those questions can be. Because football isn't just played on the field, it's played in meeting rooms and film sessions, in the anxious silences of late-night strategy calls. And right now, as this rumor spreads like wildfire, you can bet those calls are already happening. Now let's shift into this second half, where the atmosphere around the league is reaching pure frenzy levels. There's this almost cinematic sense of inevitability building, like everyone knows something major is coming, even if no one can officially say it out loud. The Eagles operate aggressively when they feel the slightest opening, and the NFC playoff picture has been sending all kinds of signals that boldness will be rewarded this year. Coaches, players, insiders, everyone can feel the momentum tilting, like a storm cloud slowly closing over the conference. Teams that were confident a week ago suddenly seem jittery, and the rumor about DIGGS jumping to Philly is the exact kind of storyline that gets into everyone's head. It's not even about whether it happens, it's the possibility, the what if that gnaws at competitive minds. In a sport built on inches and mental toughness, that's more than enough to shift the balance before a deal is even made. Reporters around the league keep describing the vibe as unsettling, like there's something brewing beneath the surface that could explode at any moment. Philly fans, always passionate and always ready for chaos, are practically manifesting the idea, flooding social platforms with edits of DIGGS in midnight green. Meanwhile, in Dallas, the energy is different and comfortable, tense, borderline panicked. Losing a star hurts, but losing him to a direct rival feels like betrayal carved into stone. And the wild part, none of this even needs to be confirmed for emotions to run high. That's the power of a rumor this big. It sparks arguments, triggers speculation from every analyst in the country, and leaves entire fan bases in a haze of confusion and adrenaline. The timing of it all adds fuel to the fire, because NFC teams are currently fighting tooth and nail for positional advantage, and the slightest shift could throw the entire playoff bracket into chaos. This rumor doesn't just float at punches, but the biggest conversation happening right now quietly, privately, almost nervously centers around the Eagles' front office and their willingness to push boundaries. They've already established a reputation for bold trades, unconventional moves, and a general refusal to play it safe. So when people hear that the Eagles might be circling a star like DIGGS, it doesn't sound impossible, it sounds predictable, and that's what's freaking everyone out. Because if Philadelphia has decided that this is the missing piece for their postseason run, they will chase it relentlessly. Rumors suggest they've been evaluating their secondary for months, identifying weaknesses that need urgent reinforcement. And while no team wants to appear desperate, true championship contenders don't wait for perfect circumstances, they force outcomes. They attack opportunities, and the possibility that Philly might do exactly that with somebody of DIGGS' caliber is what's keeping the NFC rivalry energy alive like a bonfire in the middle of winter. What's even more fascinating is how players across the league might be reacting internally to this whole situation. Imagine being a receiver on a playoff-bound NFC team, scrolling through your feed, seeing your timeline blow up with talk of TREVON DIGGS joining Philadelphia. Whether you admit it out loud or not, that registers, that changes something in your mental preparation. Suddenly your playoff path looks different, your matchups look tougher, and every route you might have expected to run comes with a new layer of caution. And on the defensive side, players in Philly must be buzzing quietly among themselves, imagining what it would be like to share the field with a ball hawk like DIGGS. Team morale can skyrocket just from the rumor alone. That's the psychological ripple effect of high-impact trades in the NFL. They alter emotions before they alter rosters, and sometimes that emotional shift is enough to ignite a team into playing on a whole different level. If this rumor continues to heat up, The strategic implications are going to spread fast across the conference. NFC offensive coordinators are already dealing with fierce pass rushes, unpredictable blitz packages, and secondaries that mix physicality with speed. Add DIGGS into that environment, and suddenly game plans that looked clean and executable turn messy and dangerous. Coaches may start reevaluating their entire approach, timing routes, read progressions, receiver alignments, because the mere presence of a turnover machine forces adjustments. It's like having a shark in the water. Swimmers behave differently. And that's exactly why this rumor matters so much. Even before anything becomes official, it shakes the foundation of competitive comfort. In a conference as volatile and top-heavy as the NFC, that kind of tremor can influence the rest of the season. Teams thrive on rhythm, on confidence, on the belief that their strategies are sound. And right now, that belief is being rattled in real time. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. And finally, the wildest part of all this is the long-term narrative it would create if the move ever does materialize. Imagine looking back years from now and seeing this trade, or even the rumor of as the catalyst for a shift in NFC dynamics, rivalries renewed with venom, playoff matchups remembered for defining moments sparked by this very rumor, fans retelling the story with dramatic flair, remembering where they were when they first heard that Philadelphia was going after TREVON DIGGS. This is the kind of storyline that embeds itself into league history, whether it becomes reality or stays a legendary what if that fans argue about forever. But for now, the rumor burns hot, the tension builds, and the NFC feels like a battlefield on the edge of a massive explosion. And until someone steps forward with the truth, this storyline, this war-level tremor will keep growing louder. What really pushes this whole situation into legendary territory is the chain reaction it could trigger across the rest of the NFL. Think about it. Whenever a superstar moves or even becomes rumored to move, teams that were previously silent suddenly start making calls of their own. It's like dominoes falling in slow motion. One front office hears the Eagles are trying something bold, and instantly, GMs from other NFC contenders begin questioning whether they're doing enough. Pressure mounts. Owners get restless. Coaches start pushing for reinforcements, and all of it stems from a single whisper about TREVON DIGGS possibly switching sides in one of the league's most heated rivalries. That's the power of a star defender in a league obsessed with matchups. And right now, analysts, former players, and even current stars are reportedly keeping an eye on this situation. Not because it's confirmed, but because league-shifting moves often start as nothing more than a rumor just like this. And if this one gains any more traction, we could see a frenzy of reactions, counter moves, and competitive desperation unlike anything the conference has experienced in years. It's not just a rumor anymore, it's a spark. And the craziest part is that rumors like this have a way of becoming self-fulfilling. When enough people talk about a move, when the pressure from fans grows loud, when insiders sense tension, sometimes front offices feel compelled to make something happen. Maybe not the exact deal being discussed, but something big enough to satisfy the narrative that's already spinning. And for the Eagles, a team that thrives on aggressive identity and bold roster building, the temptation to answer the noise with action is always present. Meanwhile, the Cowboys might feel forced to respond, to prove they're still in control, still competitive, still unwilling to watch the balance of power shift right in front of them. That's why this rumor feels alive, breathing, almost evolving with every passing hour. It's more than a report, it's a storyline merging with emotion, rivalry, and timing. And as long as it continues pulsing through the league like this, anything feels possible. This is the type of rumor that doesn't fade quietly. It crescendos until something breaks. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.